Hi, I'm Movie Cat, and you're watching Fantastic Crap. Last week, we looked at a movie that truly lives up to the name Fantastic Crap, for it wasn't just an underappreciated gem, but it was truly a very fantastically entertaining bad movie of epic proportions. And now I have decided to stick with that type of film for this episode too, though this one is not as outstanding as Ninja Terminator. In this episode, we are also returning to the 80s sword and sorcery epics, which always hold a special place in my heart. Deathstalker is the name of the film, a 1983 fantasy adventure film which became a cult series with 3 sequels under its belt. And to be fair, in my humble opinion, Part 2 is by far the greatest entry into the series. But if we are to start exploring this series, we should at least start with the first film, which is easily the second best film of the bunch. So, sharpen your swords and get ready to rescue all the maidens and slay all the beasts, because it's time to enter the realm of Deathstalker. Did I say rescue all the maidens? I meant ravage all the maidens. We'll get to that. Either our movie is about to start, or we are about to be introduced to an 80s death metal band. Our movie starts off with a group of barbarians who are about to do terrible things of a sexual nature to a young woman, if you know what I mean. I'd wink right now, but I'm a cat and that's not possible. Anyway, a young man comes to her rescue, but they are both chased by the barbarians when they suddenly happen to run into our hero.
Our fight is not with you.
This is a sword and sorcery style film. Why does this feel like a classic Western standoff?
I've taken some treasure here, and a girl from the valley. I'll share them with you. Take it all. It's yours. Take it.
I intend to. This just isn't your day, is it?
Did I say our hero? I meant to say, what the heck are we watching? It turns out that the young man was just another bandit who wanted the girl as his own slave, but that still doesn't stop Deathstalker from instantly putting the moves on her. But this time, she goes along with it because he is handsome and muscle-bound, and the hero, and just slaughtered 8 people with a sword. Apparently chicks dig this.
What do you want?
Your name.
Outside. Wait for me there. This isn't my day either.
Well, he may be kind of a womanizing, shady scoundrel, but still manages to be rather likable and charming in his own way. The old man takes him to a dethroned and homeless king who tells him that his magician Munkar betrayed him and stole his kingdom from him, and asks Deathstalker to get his kingdom back for him.
You need a fool.
No, a hero.
Okay. Soundtrack, you're getting a little too try-hard there. You may need to tone it down just a tiny bit. Being the carefree rogue that he is, Deathstalker turns the king's heroic quest down and goes on his way, but that does not stop him from rescuing an old woman being threatened by Monkar's thugs. She turns out to be a witch, and tells him that Munkar has 2 magical items and wants the 3rd item, which she knows the location of, which happens to be a sword. Deathstalker for some reason accepts her quest and goes to retrieve it from a cave where he meets an imp thing cursed by Munkar. In order to break the curse, Deathstalker must become a child and lead the creature out of the cave. What? How does that make any sense?
No, I'm not accustomed to the light. Been in this cave for 30 years. Oh, it's bright. Take my hand, I can't see anything. Where are you?
Does this movie even know what it's doing? Speaking of things not knowing what they are doing, Deathstalker seems not able to make up his mind on whether he'd rather be a dashing rogue, out just for himself, or the dashing, selfless hero. You cannot be both. Unless your name is Captain Jack Sparrow. Wow. With the creature now transformed back to a man, he joins Deathstalker, and they encounter another young hero trying to save a woman who is a legit hero this time. And so instead of running him through with his sword, Deathstalker decides to help the man slay the bad guys and rescue the woman so that she can be reunited with her son.
No one's time lasts forever.
I'll ride with you to this tournament.
See? Deathstalker is not a complete bastard, just mostly a bastard.
Show yourself.
I'll take his hood off for him, and his head.
I had a dream we would meet 2 men on the road. I didn't think it meant anything, but now...
The mysterious figure keeps his hood on, and then we have that line. Yeah, I think it's obvious how this will end, and if you haven't figured it out yet, you really need to watch more movies.
2 men, huh? Dreams are not what they used to be.
Hey, this is the 80s. Movies didn't need an excuse or a reason to show boobies. If they felt like showing boobies, then they just did because they were manly movies who lived by their own rules and liked boobies. And boy, does this movie like boobies. Maybe a bit too much. Oh, and meanwhile at Munkar's castle... When I told you this movie liked boobies, I wasn't kidding. Anyway, back to the plot. It seems that Munkar is holding a tournament where the best fighters of the kingdom are invited to come and fight to the death to win the prize of being Munkar's heir to the throne. When our heroes get there, they are having a huge feast that features 2 naked women mud wrestling. Why, you ask? Well, I already told you why.
I like boobies.
While at the feast, we get to see a few of the other fighters. Ganon has turned to cannibalism. Actually, this leads to one big thing about the 80s B-movies. So many of them had fantastic cover art that promised awesomeness, but could never really deliver. Take this movie's poster for example. Pretty awesome, huh? Well, the poster promises that really fantastic pigman monster, and what we get is, yeah, just a tad underwhelming. Though, that artwork is by the majorly talented artist Boris Vallejo, who created a whole crapload of poster art for movies and various other things. He did a lot of B-movie stuff like this, but also did artwork for National Lampoon's Vacation and its sequel, and even the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie. So, instead of having their first match of the tournament, Munkar brings out his captive princess, and a giant rumble very easily breaks out. Pigman knows that you must be well armed for each challenge you face, as long as it's someone else's arm. Oh, and then the giant rumble ends with a pillow fight. No, I'm not kidding. Feathers even burst all over the place and everything. You may notice that I have not talked about the villain much. Yeah, he has been present, but the movie's first appearance of the wizard is not all that memorable, though they do manage to build him up nicely with tales of his evil deeds. And there is one scene early on that has no setup or explanation, but you easily work out what is happening, and it sums up his character pretty well. So either he himself plucked that kid's eye out, or had the kid do it himself and then fit it to his pet monster in front of the kid. This wizard is all kinds of wrong. Also, later on we get to see the wizard feeding the kid's fingers to the monster. Yeah, he is slowly feeding the kid to his beast bit by bit. Our movie definitely seems to have some top-notch villainy after all. Speaking of villainy and sorcery, the evil wizard gives his top henchman a magical sex change and changes him to look like the princess so that she can easily get the Deathstalker and kill him. As suspected, she fails and our, hero tries to force himself on her, and during the process, she starts to transform back.
Who? What the hell are you?
Wow, it's the medieval crying game. Remember, that is the kid he is slowly feeding to a monster bit by bit. Wonderful guy. The next morning, the actual tournament starts and we get a load of fight scenes. After the fight, Deathstalker's young friend is abducted and taken off by the castle guards. The former creature guy tries to follow them to see what is going on, but he did not put enough skill points into stealth.
What are you about?
Ah, great. He is turning into one of the Stooges. It is then revealed that the young friend has really been working for the wizard the whole time and was hired to bring Deathstalker and his magic sword to the tournament. Deathstalker's friend then tells the wizard he will use his friendship with Deathstalker to get close and pull off a sneaky kill. Yeah, that is indeed how you pull off a surprise kill, by announcing it. This guy also needed to put some extra points into stealth. And intelligence. A lot of points in intelligence. But enough about that. Deathstalker's about to fight Pigman. Are they fighting or are they dancing? Though, Pigman can really tango. Deathstalker kills the Pigman, and after the fight he goes to kill the wizard. But the wizard has transformed his body, and instead of using it to his advantage, he just flats out tries to kill Deathstalker because, you know, screw trickery and the element of surprise. During the fight, the wizard manages to knock the sword away from Deathstalker, and it looks like the wizard may have the upper hand. But then... Deathstalker suddenly turns into a Jedi. The wizard then teleports Deathstalker back to the arena and multiplies himself so that Deathstalker has to fight many versions of himself, and then attacks Deathstalker with a magical flashlight. Deathstalker finally realizes he has a magical sword and is immune to magic, and just walks through the flames. Wow, haha, this wizard here is looking like a school kid who knows that the bigger kids are about to utterly clobber him and hang him off a flagpole again. Deathstalker throws him to the mob, who then rip him apart, and the movie ends like a He-Man episode. Do you have a small penis? Do all the women laugh at you as you walk by and the big men dunk you in all the trash cans? Well, that's okay, because all you have to do is pop in this movie, and afterwards you will be feeling like a big, bad, manly man, capable of wooing all the women and beating up all the bad guys. Well, at least for 5 minutes, at least. And then reality will hit, and you will be back to being a loser. But in those 5 minutes, you will feel like a king among men. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this is one of those major 80s manly men movies, and while it may not be close to being one of the better sword and sorcery films from its era, it still manages to be fun and has a good amount of its own B-movie charm and merits going for it. I give Deathstalker 5 hairballs out of 10. Sometime in the future, I will be doing the second Deathstalker film, which, as I said earlier, is the best of the series. Yeah, Deathstalker is no Red Sonja, which is another sword and sorcery film I have featured on here, but don't you see what I'm doing? I am working my way up towards the best. That's right, I'm warming up for Beastmaster. Not the next episode, but soonest. As soon as I feel like it. One of these years. Maybe. It turns out that the young man was just another bandit who wanted the girl as his own slave, but that still doesn't start Deathstalker for me? No, that should be Stop Deathstalker. Ganon has turned into, not into, though, that artwork is by the majorly talented artist Boris Villa something. Darn it. How do you pronounce that last name? After the fights, Deathstalker has a young friend who is... Oh, no. Sometime. Not... Stop adding unnecessary S's.